Oh boy, it's a roller coaster of emotions for Bears Nation as we dive into what could be a game-changing narrative unfolding within Hollis Hall. As excitement builds around our beloved team, the whispers of change stir up a thrilling tension. With every all-season move and draft selection, the stakes are climbing higher, and the potential for greatness or heartbreak looms over us all. The hopes for a deep playoff run, the desire to reclaim former glory, and the anticipation of a fresh wave of talent are creating a perfect storm of speculation. What if I told you that the very structure of the Chicago Bears offense could be reshaped in ways we haven't seen in years? This isn't just about X's and O's. It's about power, potential, and the fiery ambition that north of 80 years of Bears tradition demands. As we embark on this new season, one of the most crucial elements will be determining how this evolving roster will meld together. And believe me, fans, there's plenty worth discussing. As we take a trip down memory lane, think back to some of the great rivalries and heartbreaking moments that have defined our franchise. The loss of key players, the failed trades that shook our belief, or the moments where legendary players rose or fell in the heat of battle. Remember the days when tight ends like Mike Ditka and Greg Olsen became essential cogs in the Bears' offense? This was a time when talent shone through, and our offensive scheme thrived on skillful utilization of standout players. With Ben Johnson at the helm and a bold new approach, we could be on the precipice of deeper offensive possibilities, ripe for a resurgence. But this raises an ever-burning question. Who will be the focal point of this rejuvenation? With hefty investments made at the tight end position, are we looking at a renaissance or another missed opportunity? As anticipation builds around our draft picks especially, the recent addition of Colston Loveland Bears Nation is buzzing. This is Bears News Fan Report, your go-to source for the latest intel and analysis on everything Bears. If you're not already subscribed, hit that button. We'll keep you plugged into the heart of Chicago Bears news. The urgency has never been more palpable as we gear up for what might become a season of reckoning. Now let's get to the crux of the matter, what's cooking in Hollis Hall. The tight end duo of Cole Kmet and Colston Loveland has ignited chatter among players, fans, and analysts alike. With Loveland being drafted 10th overall and the undeniable skills that Kmet has previously showcased, we could be witnessing a seismic shift in our offensive strategy. Just imagine the possibilities with two tight ends boasting distinct skill sets, both creating mismatches that defenses will desperately scramble to handle. With general manager Ryan Poles hinting at the potential he sees with both of these athletes on the field, it's clear that the Bears are looking at evolving from their previous play style. Defenses around the league will have to account for both Kmet and Loveland, turning the offense into a literal pick-your-poison scenario. Remember that first preseason game against the Bills? With Loveland demonstrating his prowess early on, it opened the door for mismatches that Kmet capitalized on with ease, showcasing just what this pairing can do when aligned correctly. But it's worth pondering, with all this excitement surrounding our tight end situation, what does this mean for Kmet's future? The draft investment in Loveland raises questions in fantasy circles and has sent ripples through the community. It's no secret that Kmet has been a reliable figure for the Bears, but with a shiny new weapon in Loveland on board, what role will Kmet truly occupy? Could he see his stats decline, or is there room for two viable threats within the same offensive unit? As we survey the field, let's not gloss over the competitive landscape of the NFC North. With teams like the Lions and Vikings bolstering their rosters, the Bears must adapt rapidly. Kmet's past performances tell a sketchy tale. While his durability is commendable, his production has repeatedly faltered against tougher defenses. With Loveland making a splash on the scene, could they spur one another on? Or will Loveland outshine Kmet, causing doubts to fester among fans hoping to see Kmet thrive? The clock is ticking, and as we speculate on how this dynamic might evolve, the implications stretch far beyond our tight ends. A successful tight end duo could open up opportunities for our wide receiver cores, elevating the entire passing game. But with a promising quarterback like Caleb Williams at the helm, will the Bears have enough passes to go around? Balancing multiple stars in a single offense can quickly turn into a recipe for dysfunction. And here's where things get particularly intriguing for fantasy managers and Bears fans alike. Should you draft Kmet, or is it wiser to wait and see how he fits into this new paradigm? A crowded offensive roster means there's plenty to digest. And while Kmet may have value, projecting him as any team's primary tight end is a risky endeavor. If Kmet were to find himself in the shadow of Loveland, can he recapture and make the most of those pivotal moments? As the season unfolds, remember that if Kmet starts out strong, he may catch fire and become essential. If not, it might be that trade deadline where his future takes a sudden, dramatic twist, perhaps ending up in a new uniform altogether. So, the stage is set, and the narrative is rich with potential. What if the Kmet-Loveland duo becomes the focal point that transforms? Our offense from stagnant to sensational? The energy buzzing through Hollis Hall seems to suggest they are taking aim at a bold new direction, promising to leave Bears Nation eager for more. As we wrap this segment up, keep your eyes peeled for how this developing story will impact our Bears as the season approaches. Remember, the veil of uncertainty always hangs in the air, hence the stakes are higher than ever. What will unfold when the players hit the field? The answers might be closer than they appear, but only time will tell if we are looking at a tight end revolution or the unraveling of last season's struggles. Stay tuned for more. Bears fans, I'm furious, and you should be too, because whispers are swelling into shouts from Hollis Hall, and the implications of these latest developments could redefine our beloved franchise. If you bleed Chicago blue, subscribe now. We ride this storm together, because something's brewing that might ignite both excitement and tension across the Bears Nation. The air feels charged. Anticipation is thick as the icy lakefront wind. Bites harder tonight with rumors swirling about the future of Cole Kmet and the promising newcomer Colston Loveland. Picture this scenario: a locker room that's either buzzing with synergy or split down the middle as established roles clash. With fresh talent, how will the veterans respond to this shift? When you put two tight ends of this caliber on the same roster, you run the risk of ego battles, an unraveling of team camaraderie, and the pressure of living up to the historic legacy that defines this franchise. The NFC North is no playground. Divisional rivals like the Lions and Vikings are not just lurking, they're circling like sharks, ready to pounce if they sense any sign of discord. Meanwhile, GM Ryan Poles is likely maneuvering chess pieces behind closed doors, skimming through potential trades to strengthen positions, all under the watchful eye of Bears fans holding their collective breath, watching to see how this drama unfolds. And while Kmet has established himself as a reliable target in our offense, Loveland's arrival signifies that the Bears are ready to make bold moves. Will they risk upsetting the current lineup to embrace a potential game-changing strategy? Just think about it. If Loveland proves to be everything the front office envisioned, will Kmet find himself on a slippery slope, auditioning for a new home as the season rolls on? With every ticking moment, the stakes skyrocket, and we're left to question, will head coach Ben Johnson unleash his creativity to forge an offensive juggernaut or burn himself out trying to juggle too many raw talents? The crunch of cleats on Soldier Field's grass echoes the uncertainty lurking within our roster. What we saw in that initial preseason game against the Bills stirred something deep in our hearts, but it also raised haunting questions about Kmet's role moving forward. Picture that opening drive, the hype, the promise. Hear the roars of anticipation as Loveland makes a play, drawing attention from safeties, leaving Kmet open. Then bam, a monstrous 29-yard gain in the face of a linebacker. That's the type of connection that stirs hope, but also brings foreboding. Could this be the dawning of a beautiful partnership or the unraveling of a lone wolf's tenure? History has a tendency to repeat itself in this franchise. The echoes of '85 and the driving force of legends like Butkus and Ehrlicher remind, use that greatness requires sacrifice and savvy decision-making. And let's not forget the heart-wrenching moments that have left Bears fans shattered, our souls battered. From hopes dashed with every looming trade deadline or pivotal game. As we navigate through this tight end conundrum, the very essence of Bear football hangs in the balance. The conflict visible in every practice, in every post-game press conference. Kmet's future looms like a shadowy specter, and could that pressure be the catalyst that leads to a meteoric rise or a catastrophic fall? Meanwhile, the anticipation lingers heavily around every commercial break, every last-minute lineup change. With the playoff window opening slightly, how much risk is too much when failure means going back to the drawing board?